Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, a Pittsburgh Steelers podcast made by fans like you, for fans like you. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground Podcast. I am your host, Joe Kuzma, joined today by co-host, co-pilot, and typically this is your column on steelcityunderground.com. Terry, this is the Terry Fletcher, by the way. Terry, how are you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Yeah, you could tell we don't really have an agenda for this, and this is the first episode that we're doing based on your column WTF. If you don't know what that means, listeners, well, just Google it. What the fire truck is probably the best we could say. This is a family show. We won't swear as much as we might want to with some of these things. And my first one, as Terry knows, I am kind of jittery, freezing cold. You're not quite in the same category, Terry from SoCal, as your Twitter handle is. What's the weather like for you there as I unbury myself from snow?
Well, we're actually really cold here. It's 62 and just partly sunny.
Oh, that sounds like winter coat weather.
Yeah, we're freezing.
In fact, a client I just met with earlier this afternoon was wearing shorts. So we still don't think that like 28 degrees and a few inches of snow merits wearing winter coats here. But I have to undig myself from some of this. I think I've already run the snowplow more times this year than last year. We had a very mild winter, so WTF to that. And I guess we could jump right in. This was the one that you hit off right off the bat last week. The Los Angeles Rams, all kinds of saga going on there. They banned Eric Dickerson, and then they said, no, we didn't. And Jeff Fisher said, no, we didn't. And then Jeff Fisher got an extension. And now what's the latest WTF with Jeff Fisher?
Well, he's now been relieved of his duties per the website. As somebody that lives in the Southern California area, they practiced their preseason out here at UCI University. So it was interesting just, getting to see the team and everything, but it's been a big Hollywood thing. And, actually putting him to a contract extension and then cutting him less than 8 days later, he's got a nice retirement plan. So good for them. I don't know what happened or what the pressure they got, but they needed to send a message to fans. And apparently that was the message that, at 42 point, beating on live TV in a really, primetime game, that probably isn't a good idea.
No, in fact, they got scored off. It was right off the opening kickoff. They fumbled the opening kickoff, and it was immediately like 7-0 right out the gate. And he got this extension, and a lot of people were discussing, I guess he only collects 1 year of this. It was kind of just a token guarantee payment. Thank you for what you've done, Jeff Fisher type thing. I think the writing was still on the wall even with the extension, but still WTF, right?
Yeah, I think the funny thing is that there was a meme created the other day, and I just thought this was the funniest part of it, is that he needed to challenge something and he couldn't find his challenge flag. He looked everywhere, in his pockets, in his pants, in his sock, as Bill Belichick puts his, and everybody else knows where his is, but he's one of 32 coaches, or now not a coach, who just didn't know what have a clue, and that's kind of why he's gone. So.
I saw that too on Monday Night Football, and I thought Belichick may have had more than one, and they were all like tucked in his sock just for safety, maybe one in each foot, like on each side. But yeah,
exactly.
even better for this segment is the Rams play a game on Thursday night, so they have a short week. It is the Seahawks and on the road. So
yeah, and he's made it publicly clear that somebody asked him in the media, do you expect to be a candidate for the head coaching job, and he just said no. So he's a stopgap. I think letting Fisher tie for the most losses as a coach. Somebody said, at least they could have let him get his own record, and then play Thursday night through it. But
yeah, wait 3 more days and let him get it. So, speaking of records, Big Ben, and he said he wasn't sure if they could do this on his show. He was talking about giving Mike Tomlin a game ball for his 100th win. Here's a coach that doesn't win on the road, right? He always loses on the road, and they don't win the games that, quote, they should. But yet he did both of those. They pretty much dominated the Bills, and now he has 100 victories in his 10th season. Did it faster than just about anyone else. Definitely faster than Chuck Noll or Bill Cowher. And I think all of the people that were off the bandwagon are now back on.
I think so. I think the one thing with the Steelers that people seem to miss. And I think it's something I have to remind myself too. It doesn't seem like we have bench players. It seems like everybody contributes in some facet of that team. And he's always been the standard is the standard, the next man up, obviously. But, he just makes everybody do something to contribute. And, the rotation is gone as far as the linemen, but it's hard to know who was a starter at the beginning and who is now because everybody plays. So I think that's his, that's a good thing for him. And he's never had a losing season. And, he's done his 100th win. And so people need to get off the fire Tomlin bandwagon because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, that was a major WTF. And I guess we could go the same way with all of the Cowboys fans. All of a sudden they won they hadn't lost since week 1. They've only lost to one team, albeit twice, in the New York Giants all season. And everybody's panicking. And it's crazy. It's just crazy to think about that. But next man up, and this got me with the WTF, it's seemingly okay. No signs during the game, but BJ Finney now, backup guard to Ramon Foster, who started in place of Ramon, who was injured on Sunday, is in the concussion protocol. And that immediately made me say the magic words of what the fire truck. And I'm just like, geez, it seems like this team just cannot keep people healthy. So hopefully BJ is going to be okay. Hopefully Ramon is going to be okay. And this is just something that, is your normal midweek news, and we could forget about it on Sunday. But another WTF when it comes to on the field is I meant to write Big Ben, and I wrote Bad Ben, but I guess it fits here with 3 interceptions against the Buffalo Bills. And I think you had quite a bit to say about it. It really speaks to Mike Tomlin and the coaching job that he does when Ben can have a bad game like this, and he does, and every quarterback will from time to time.
Right.
Even Brady didn't have the best game on Monday Night Football against the Ravens through everybody who gushes over him. In fact, they were gushing so much over that game. Everyone loves the Ravens. We're going to talk about that in a second. Everyone loves the Ravens so much. Everyone loves the Patriots. It was just sounded like a lot of bromance going on Monday Night Football. But when Ben gets one of these bad games, it's kind of good that he got it out of the way and they were able to dominate in the way they did. But WTF, Ben, and he knows it too.
Yeah, he does. He takes responsibility. I think this is the first press conference, though, that he just didn't say, I played like, crap. He just didn't say it this time. He basically, he gave reasons for each interception. He knew exactly. He said, Green and I haven't really practiced that. We need to practice more on the first one. He said the second one, yeah, all me. And he said, that was just me. And then the third one, he said, that defender just made a great play. I throw that ball. I block that ball. I do that all the time and it works. And it just didn't work that time. And then I think just a little side note, what was really funny and a true WTF was somebody had during his press conference brought up the Deflategate 2. And just real quick, and he goes, what? I don't know what you're talking about. I thought we used Nerf balls. And I just thought that was funny. So he was able to make light of a not so great game for him with a 18 quarterback rating and then, 2 points on fantasy to an actual win that kept us in first place. And so, when you get the win, the bad play, you just move on to the next game.
You know what? I'm looking that up. Was that actually an 18? I thought it was like 33 or something. Maybe the QBR was lower because they get like those 2 numbers. They got like that ESPN number. They always come up with.
It was a pro football focus thing that they put out.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an 18 thing. So I was like, wow, that was terrible.
37.8. I think it was like one of Ben's worst 5 games or something like that. And he's won like 2 or 3 of those now. And that was on the heels of Le'Veon Bell, who went what's the best word
off.
For this? Went off.
He went off. Yeah.
Lev Bell and hold on, I got it stuck in between the playoff math that we're going to talk about too. 38 carries, 236 rushing yards, 298 yards from scrimmage, 3 touchdowns. He outgained the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, the Panthers, Chargers, Browns, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Giants over week 14. That's insane. That is literally
insane.
8 teams, 25% of the NFL. He had more yards than, and Ben said, who cares? You know what? Let's if that's what we got to take, if that's what it takes, we're just going to keep feeding them the ball.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting is all those stats and all that, it's great, but people need to realize when they look at him as a whole, and I actually think I saw a tweet out there saying he wasn't special and that person just needs to go away. But the thing is, he wasn't playing the first 3 games of the season. So MVP needs to be a part of the conversation for him because he just, I mean, he's definitely going to be the Steelers MVP. There's no question this year, but he just absolutely just goes all out, and his complete overall all-round back. I mean, you just can't say enough about what he can do out there. Laying out that one guy, and as a side note, just from his, running and passing or running and receiving abilities, and then he takes a guy out who's now, what did he get put on the IR or something?
Yeah, we just saw that.
Just saw it.
Yeah, it just came across the wire, and
that was from a stiff arm. I think it was funny. I was like, wow, he just clocked that guy. Now we see him on the IR. So.
Yeah, and I really want to say his name. He was a safety, and I don't have the flip chart in front of me with the pronunciation, but Idegbo, I think, is his name.
Yeah.
For the Bills, and he wears 27. But speaking of some more WTF and MVP talk, who you always got everyone they're blushing over Tom Brady. Oh, Tom Brady went off on Monday Night Football. He's in MVP discussions. Well, he missed 4 games this year, and he actually missed more games than Bell did, and. If you're going to put him in the conversation, there's no doubt that Le'Veon Bell belongs in that conversation. But Patriots, Ravens, still talking about it. Aside from the WTF of everyone, I'm glad Phil Simms was not on this game because his head would have exploded. He probably they might have to check for his remnants of his brain splattered against the wall somewhere if he was in a hotel or at home watching this game, because he loves Flacco, he loves Brady, but. I'll tell you the one thing I was really impressed with. Look, Troy Polamalu, like Shane McClellan, Monday Night Football, hurdles the long snapper and blocks Justin Tucker's field goal. That was absolutely insane, and you have to think to yourself, WTF. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And leave it to Bill Belichick, the Patriots, and primetime football for them to do it. Man, that's something else. But we're getting sick of everyone calling the Ravens a good team. And the Ravens haven't won a road game since September 25th, and they've only won on the road against Cleveland and Jacksonville this year. And to me, that's not a playoff caliber team. And as I said before, this is where the Steelers were. A lot of people were talking about jumping off and saying, fire Tomlin. You had Ben hurt. You had a 4-game losing streak. Well, they had the toughest part of their schedule earlier. Now the Ravens are facing that difficult stretch, and they had the easy part earlier. And you know what? The Ravens weren't necessarily super impressive in these games that they won earlier this year. And I'm trying to, if I could only get devices to work, it must be the weather here. Everything is like freezing on me, I swear, whether it's myself. And I'm trying to pull up the Ravens schedule because I know that these games were so ridiculously close. And here I have it. The weeks 2 and 3, they beat the Browns on the road 25-20, and they beat Jacksonville 19-17. And it was like, oh, wow, they're 3-0 to start the season. And it's like, no, this team, I want to call them garbage, but I'm going to sound like Pac-Man Jones if I do that. And you know what? Pac-Man, we got a WTF for you, too. Call in Terrell Pryor, garbage. Terrell Pryor is a converted quarterback. Great job on shutting him down. What are you going to do on Sunday against Antonio Brown? That's what I got to say. So.
Well, the thing is too is that everybody's whenever it seems weird when we play the Browns, they say the Steelers play the Browns, you can't really do that. But when Brady came back after his 4-game suspension, the first team he played was the Browns, and of course he had an epic day, and they're like, oh, he's back. I'm like, okay, but it's the Browns, and same with the Ravens, it's the Browns. So people need to, realize that, that they're 13-0 and they haven't won a game in 15 in a row. So since going back to last year, and I feel bad for them, but they're a terrible team. So you have to kind of weigh that out there too.
Yeah, I think Monday was the actual anniversary of the Browns' last win. And so with Johnny Manziel as quarterback, so go figure. They are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, as are several other teams. But I think it's hilarious because we're talking about the playoff math. They're already starting. Well, this team can clinch this team can clinch that. The Oakland Raiders literally have 9 different ways to clinch a playoff berth this week. One of them is to win the game, which is obvious. All the rest are all these crazy, well, if the Steelers and Dolphins both lose and or tie, and then somebody else puts their right hand on top of their head and stands on one foot and hops around in circles 3 times. So it's just crazy. And then according to FPI, I got the stat here, and I don't remember who else. Somebody tweeted this this, but I think it was NFL themselves or ESPN. The Eagles actually still have a chance to make the playoffs, but it's 5 million to 1 odds. So,
oh God,
any of the Eagles fans out there, and I know, and it feels terrible considering how bad we lost playing there, but like I said, you're going to have some of those. 5 million to 1. If you want to get your bets in, do it before Sunday.
Well, and they play the Ravens next, right?
Yes, they do. And then it might be Baltimore's last. It's their last home game of the season before traveling to Pittsburgh on Christmas, and then they finish up in Cincinnati. But that's my last WTF, Terry. We've been talking about it a lot with the entire team over at Steel City Underground. This Christmas game, am I going? Am I not going? How am I going to be able to watch? There are no other Steelers fans. With my mother doesn't even watch football. She'll shut it off on TV if she could even get the game in.
Wow.
It's on NFL Network. I'm going absolutely crazy. This is the Baltimore Ravens. It's Color Rush, but it's on Christmas Day. How many other fans are having trouble with? Are you going to go to the game? Are you going to watch the game? Are you getting crap from your divided households? Because my wife is a Browns fan. If the Browns were playing on Christmas Day, she would not care. And it's eating me alive. I don't know what to do. You talk about a different look. What happens when you get a Ben Roethlisberger that's at full health at home?
Full healthy, yeah.
Against the Steelers at home. But is it going to be like a home game that we get screwed on Christmas? Are there going to be a lot of fans like myself that are on the fence of whether or not to attend? I'm sure the ones that are there are going to be rowdy enough, but I got to wonder, is there going to be even 60,000 people there? They've been setting records with 65 in that ballpark. Largest crowd ever against the Cowboys. They had a very large crowd against the Giants. Same with the Patriots. They've been getting a lot of away fans. I don't know how this is going to turn out as far as having a home field advantage, and this game may have everything on the line. I just have to say WTF to Roger Goodell for making us play on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. It's just absolutely awful. Terry, thank you for joining me today. This is fun, and this is easy, and people probably wouldn't believe that. No, none of this is scripted. We just shooting from the hip. Make sure you follow Terry. Terry.
We didn't even get to the end of our list.
Did we? Did I miss something? What else did you have?
Well, the Pats miscues are on special teams, and then the Ravens missed field goal too. So
yeah.
Last night.
We don't care about the Patriots or Ravens that much, do we?
No. But I mean, but you know what? The one Patriots special team miscues, which I don't know if those guys still have jobs, but that's the same thing Ben dealt with his bad game. The quarterbacks always seem to find a way to win if they have to. So we're finding ways to win.
Oh, and I know what the other update was. It was Mike Nugent no longer has a job in Cincinnati. Their new kicker is our old kicker. Randy Bullock,
our temp job. Randy Bullock, our temp job guy.
Yeah, you're Randy. I know you're not listening, so but if you were, you're now dead to me again. So I just got done praising him and saying, "Hey, we appreciate your contribution." Blah blah blah. But we don't need guys who can make extra points when we're playing the Bengals this Sunday.
We don't.
Great. Yeah. So at Terry and so Calif on Twitter. Thank you once again. You are, I'd say you're a gentleman and a scholar, but you're not a man. So
thanks.
So thanks again for coming on. I'll let you get one last shout out and then we'll sign off here.
I think just the WTF that we're going to be dealing with for this week is that let's just make sure that we take care of our business and, ball security. That's all we're going to do. And if we don't get it, everybody's going to yell on that WTF at the TV. So we're on the field. Ball security is our number one priority.
Yeah, it'd be great to get another road win, especially when this team wasn't good on the road. They're going to have to go on the road in the postseason. So looking forward to that.
Stay away from Burfict. We didn't see him last time, right?
No, we did not. He was suspended. He didn't get to make the trip to Pittsburgh. That's a shame, and I do worry about that guy. And we'll be talking about more of that later in our Bengals preview later this week. Until next time, folks, keep those phone calls coming in. I'm going to play a few of them on the air. 203-900-4SCU. Until next time, be safe, be good, and I'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.